I have just seen what I would suspect to be a teacher, possibly a parent, but I think it looked very teacherish. A teacher man giving a lollipop lady a high five. I found that really nice, quite life affirming, that these people are doing a job that we should appreciate, because they're not just making sure your kids get across the road safely, they sort of keep an eye out on things, don't they? Lollipop men and ladies, they talk to the kids. They can be the difference between kids going into school feeling down or feeling a bit stressed and what have you, or feeling a bit more upbeat. I think it's a wonderful service and they should be appreciated. I know some kids give them like Christmas cards and little presents and things, which is also, it's really lovely. That's how it should be. Got to appreciate these people, the ones who make a difference in life. So yeah, high five the lollipop ladies if you can, and lollipop men, because there are both. In fact, there's a lollipop man down here who looks like Gary Glitter, which is not really good look, is it, for that particular role? But you appreciate them. This is what we used to have when I was a kid. There's that phrase, isn't it? It takes a village to raise a kid, which means that you need everybody. You need people from different walks of life looking after them. Well done, well done. So when I was growing up, when I was a kid, when I was nothing out but a sallow youth, when this one out but fails, it wasn't just my parents and my grandparents that gave us wisdom, gave us advice and put us on the right path. It was all adults, and we listened to adults back then because they had wisdom, they had life experience, lived experience. People like I used to speak to as well had been in the war and things like that, you know. They had genuine experience. You're having a bad day, are you? You're having a bad day. Just as a teacher shouted at you, I was shot at in the war. Puts things into perspective. We don't have that anymore, obviously. Thankfully, we don't have that anymore. I am of the generation where I should be giving advice to kids. I was never in a war. But they used to give us not just advice, it was, sort of showing us by the way they were, the way they acted, the way they spoke to people, the way they spoke to kids. I've mentioned this before plenty of times. I grew up being able to speak to people of different ages, not just kids I went to school with, not just my parents. People that are in the 50s, 60s and 70s, because we had that experience of talking to them. Nowadays they don't. No one interacts anymore, and you're not really going to be able to Snapchat people in their 80s or 90s and get their shared experience. It doesn't work that way. Talking to someone on a bus back in the 80s who had been in the war, you learned a lot. You learned how to appreciate peacetime for a bloody start. And don't be going around causing issues if you can get away with it. Appreciate life, because they bloody did. As I say, you're having a bad day, try being in the trenches. Puts things into perspective. But yeah, we should be the next generation who does this. So I had to talk to Jess because she was feeling a bit stressed. She wasn't feeling well yesterday. And I know it's different because it's my daughter, but it shouldn't be different. I should be able to talk to anyone about stuff like this. Try and put things into perspective. Try and calm them down. And it's got to be done in such a way where it doesn't sound like you're either talking down to them or you don't know because you haven't lived kind of thing, you know what I mean? Don't be condescending to them. But, you know, I've lived through this. I've had this experience. I know what it feels like. I have empathy. This is what worked for me. Have you tried? Rather than what you should do is. Because what you should do is normally ignored, isn't it? Bloody kids, you don't know anything. What you should do is, straight away, they shut down. Whereas, yeah, I've been through that. Have you tried? So it would be a good idea. You can give this a go, and if it doesn't work, try something else. Empathy, man. There's not a finite supply of it. It should be available by the bucket load. And use your life experience. I've spoken to people over the years who don't believe they know anything. What advice can I give to anyone? And you sit down and talk to them for 5 minutes and think, geez, man, you have lived a life, genuinely lived a life. You're full of experience, but you don't realise what it is. Even me, well, I've not done anything. I have done lots of stuff, lived in a different country. I have been an immigrant. Slightly different to what people think an immigrant is. I was also an economic migrant, which is something I need to point out occasionally. What do you mean you can't be an economic migrant? You're white. Yeah, funny that, isn't it? But my dad was a footballer, and we moved to the Netherlands because the money was better at that club, and it meant that a local lad wasn't getting an opportunity because some foreigner had come in and took his job. Bloody Englishman coming over here, scoring goals for my team. But I can experience, or so I can tell people what that experience was like. And it's much easier for me because I am white and I was in another European country. I wasn't leaving a war-torn country. Much easier, but I still had that experience of what it's like to be a foreigner in a slightly stranger land, because the difference in the Netherlands and the UK is not huge. It's not like the difference between the UK and, say, Japan or somewhere in Africa where it's a completely different culture. But it's still different enough to have an appreciation. That's the kind of experience you can pass on. I didn't work over there because I was a kid, but I went to school. I interacted with people. What was it like when you lived there? Well, there was a few differences. This is the wisdom that you pass on. But you do that through talking. You don't do it through Snapchat. You can put things on social media. You can talk about it. I'm putting this on YouTube, so you can talk about these things. But it's the conversations that you have in the global commons. That's how we evolve. That's how we move forward. People need to talk more, and not just amongst your own little tribe, amongst people of your own age, same skin colour, same football team, different people. That's how we move forward, man. The oldest form of communication that we had was always storytelling, sitting around campfires, talking about stuff. That's how we as a species evolved. Do more of that. Talk, share, evolve, move forward. And most of all, High five a Lollipop lady. You will not regret it, and they won't either. Show appreciation. Together we can do this. We can make the world a better place. Start to turn to Ringo, aren't I? We can make the world a better place, you know. Peace and love, man. Peace and love. Yeah. Just make it a better world. One step at a time.